Hey gang, Ken Hackathorn here for the Wilson Combat YouTube channel. I got a new installment for you. Real simple thing for you to practice, but a very important one. Remember, in the real world, people don't try to attack you or accost you or rob you or assault you from 25 yards away. They usually do it at almost what we call bad breath distance. They're going to rob you or attempt to rob you or confront you at 2, maybe 3 yards at the most. They're going to be right on you. So knowing how to shoot a precision shot at, say, 10 yards is not necessarily going to be the technique you want to utilize at close distance. Because remember, at close distance, if I've got somebody that's just a couple yards away from me and I produce my gun and I stick it out or I present it like that, you're making it easy for them in one lunge, in one step, to deflect your handgun, or if they know what they're doing, to actually grab it and take it away from you. So you don't want to present your weapon out as you normally practice when you go to the range. You got to practice a technique we call retention shooting. Shooting from retention is actually pretty simple, but there's a couple rules that you have to follow. One of which is, when you index the gun, in order to be accurate and uniform, you got to have the same index point every time you present the gun. Typically, you want the forearm or your elbow locked against your rib cage. Now, if the adversary is real close, I may have to draw the weapon and lock my weapon here because I simply can't project it out. If I've got a step or two, say the target's 2 or 3 yards away from me, I can actually bring the gun out a bit farther, index my elbow more towards my front rib cage, and get the gun closer to my center line. But it's going to be out farther. Remember, there's difference from here to here depending upon the threat. But you've got to index. Remember, if you don't index this to your torso somewhere, if you what we call let the arm float, every time you draw and shoot, it's going to be in a different place, and you're never going to be consistent. So the technique's real simple. The mistake that most people make, they draw the gun, and watch, they draw the gun and shoot from here. Head's here, gun's over here. Believe me, you will not hit very well. You have to have the head and gun in line. There's 2 ways of doing that. One, you can draw the pistol to here, that get your head, bring your head, shift your upper body over so your head and gun are lined up. Real important. Or draw the gun so the gun comes in line with the head. You need to practice both. The reality is, I find most people, it works best for me, I try to bring the gun in line with my head. In other words, it kind of comes to almost midpoint of my body, or somewhere in between with a little bit of lean, like so. The key here is to bring that gun out and lock it here. So basically what you're doing is controlling your horizontal errors. In other words, I make sure the gun and the head is looking at exactly the same place. Now, the problem I can't control without practice is the amount of up and down, if you will, vertical dispersion. And that only comes with practice. The mistake that I see most people make is the elevation thing. They bring the gun out to here. Well, I guarantee you, if I shoot from here, guess where I'm going to hit my adversary? The same place. Remember, you want an upper chest. What we're talking about, we're shooting for something that causes a loss of blood pressure. That's a round that's going to hit the upper part of the chest. More rounds I put in there, the more leaks we create, the quicker the blood pressure will drop and your adversary will no longer be a threat to you. Now, which means if I want to hit somebody in the upper chest, I'm going to have to bring my gun up almost to upper chest level. Remember, the height of your adversary and the distance to your target will have a somewhat of an effect in this, but it's real simple. Draw the gun, get my head over the gun, or draw the gun so it's in line with my head. And when you practice this, it's real simple. You want to bring the gun out and look. Take the time and look when you practice. Is my head and gun lined up and right in line with where I'm looking at the target? You can do this, go to the range. You don't fire many rounds initially. Practice the draw from here, getting your head over it. Or practice bringing the gun to here and making sure everything's lined up. Also keep in mind, people say, what do I do with this hand? You may be using this hand to block or push the guy off of you. Obviously, you want to put your hand in a position where you're not going to end up shooting yourself. That's real obvious. Let me show you, we're going to go hot on this. Let me show you how this drill works, and I'll explain to you a couple more points. All right, listen, here's what we're going to try. I got my target at about 3 yards, which for this technique is probably as far as you want to use it. Get the target at 4 or 5 yards, you probably have time to bring the gun to eye level. If Good way to start is put your target at 1 yard and get to the point where you've got, hey, those shots are right where I want them, then move it to 2 yards. Same thing, and you're comfortable with them getting all the shots where I need to go, then finally put it at 3. Today I've got the target at about 3 yards. And let me show you again. Now watch what we're going to be doing here. I'm going to be drawing the pistol, I'm going to be locking it, looking, and then pressing the trigger. So the sequence should look like this. I'm going to bring the pistol out, lock it on the target, head and pistol in line. I'm looking where the pistol is pointed, then I'm going to press the trigger and fire my first shot, okay? Then I'm going to recover, and I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to lock, look, press. I look at the target, pistol comes out, I lock, and I press. And then I'll pick up the speed. Once you're getting the shots in the zone you want, then you can pick up the speed with the presentation, but never go faster than you can shoot effectively. All right? After you've got a series of those, you think, okay, I've kind of dialed in where I need to be. Now you can go to 2 shots. Same thing, lock, look, press. Okay, let's talk about what you want to do with your non-firing hand. Remember, you don't want to leave it out there where it's in the line of fire. So you need to index it someplace so you know where it's at. Some guys like to bring the gun down to the hand to their side and anchor it there. Some guys mid-level. I kind of like to bring my hand up here on my chest. That way I know where it's at. Remember, this hand may be as a strike, or you may be pushing your adversary off, but you want to snap it back as you present the gun so it's not going to be somewhere in front of that muzzle where it may get accidentally hit. You don't want that. So pick an index point, practice it. Every time you do this, come to that index point for the weak hand so it's out of the way and you're safe. All kinds of systems. Some guys like bringing it up where the elbows up here where they think they can kind of protect attack. You do what works best for you. But remember, get this hand in a safe area where it's not going to be endangered from the muzzle of your weapon. And when you feel comfortable that you're pretty much where you need to be with doing 2-round presentation, then start doing 3. 1, 2, 3s. Lock, look, press, press, press. Here we go. And that's what you need to do. Start at 1 yard, go to 2, finally at 3. When you can cover the shots with your hand in that torso area, right where the bullets need to be gone, then you feel like you're there. Remember, it's going to take practice, like anything in life. What you practice is what you end up being good at. But when you go to the range, remember, yeah, it's nice to know how to hit your target really effectively at 25 yards, but for the real world, it's probably important to know how to do it at 2 or 3 yards too. And remember, you stick your gun out where they can get it, it can be deflected or taken away from you. So practice shooting with retention. Next time you go to the range, check it out. And remember, folks, be sure and subscribe to the Wilson Combat YouTube channel. Lots of good material coming your way. Check it out.